Hello and welcome to the latest of our Wednesday workshops. It's with me, Bruce McLaughlin, manager of the Knowledge Exchange Centre. This week, a step-by-step guide on setting up your LinkedIn profile. And as you know, your LinkedIn profile is your advert to the world, telling everybody what a wonderful employee you would make. Part 1. Setting up your account. Step 1 will be to go to linkedin.com. linkedin.com. Once you're on that page, then you'll see a screen like this, and clearly sign in won't apply to you yet if you haven't got your account, so we're going to look at joining now. So I'm going to click on that link here where it says join now. Step 2 will be to enter your email address, and then step 3 will be to create a password. If you've got that set up on your system, you can obviously use one that's been suggested for you, or you can create your own password. And then click agree and join. Next, you enter your first name and your last name. So for this point, do use your own name. Don't use a created name or a silly name. Remember, this is a professional profile that you're creating here. And click continue. Obviously entirely up to you whether you ask your device to save passwords or not to save password. That's a matter for your own choice. Select your country or region, United Kingdom. Select your own postcode and your area. Now it might suggest this for you based on your location, or you may need to type that detail in. And once you've done that, again click next. Now your most recent job title, or you could opt for I'm a student. I think my recommendation here would be for you to enter a job title if you have a current job and it's relevant and you want to show it on your CV. So I'm going to use founder and managing director because that's a job title that I've held. It'll then ask you for your employment type: full-time, part-time, self-employed, contract, apprenticeship. Obviously whichever one suits you. I'm going to select self-employed for this, and then you're going to be asked for your industry. This is all important and useful information because this will help when it comes to job searching and also to finding the right connections, but a bit more on that later. So I'm going to look for the most suitable one down here, and I'm going to pick hospitality. And then we're going to click on continue. By the time you get to this screen, you should have received an email that gives you a code number. That's clearly for security purposes. So you type that code number into this box. My code was 698026. I don't mind revealing that because of course it's a once only code. So I do that, and then again I'm going to click agree and confirm. Now again, entirely a choice for you. Are you looking for a new job? It will automatically start helping you to look for those. You can tick yes. Or if you're not specifically looking for one at the moment, then clearly you can click on not now. This is the information we entered earlier on, so I'll just click on next. And it's giving me the option to search for jobs. We won't do that just now, but obviously if you want to do that as part of your search, then you can certainly do that. You'll notice incidentally that it's automatically switched on here, get job alerts for this search, which means that you'll be sent any specific jobs that match with the title that you've got here and the area that you've got below that. But for now, I'm just going to skip that step. Part 2. Adding your profile picture. As you can see, you've been brought straight through to the jobs page, but we don't want to start looking at that for now. Let's carry on setting up your profile. You'll see all your useful icons across the top here. This one, clearly, just like all other social media sites, is the home button, takes you to your home page. This one we'll come to in a future session, which talks about connections, and these are various different alerts. But let's look at this icon over here, which is your profile. So let's click on that and go through to the page. So I've clicked on that, and I would like to view my profile. Okay, this will be quite familiar to many of you because it looks just like the sort of information you'll be putting into a Facebook profile or indeed any of those other sites. So the first thing that I would recommend that you do is to put in a proper profile picture. You'll see there's a space there to do that, and the clue is that there's a camera there. So if we click on that camera, we need to take or upload a photo. I'd strongly recommend that what you do is to prepare a photograph ready for upload. It never looks great if you just simply take a picture using the camera on your phone or on your MacBook. So let's click on the upload photo option, and you will see that automatically it brings you up to a box. Now I've picked 3 just to illustrate to you which ones you should or should not choose. Let's see. Image number 1. There's me with a bottle of beer at a party. Probably not the best image for LinkedIn. Great for Facebook, funny for Instagram. Let's not use it for LinkedIn. Let's have a look at this second image. Shows a bit of creativity. It's a cartoonish image, but it doesn't really look professional. Let's have a look at the third choice. Yeah, that's much better, isn't it? You look a professional, the sort of person that hopefully people will look at and think, yes, I would employ this person. So once you're happy with the image that you've got, then simply choose that image for upload. We'll click on that, and you can see you have an option here to just slightly reposition the photograph within the frame to move it around. Pick the most flattering viewpoint. You can zoom in if you want to make it larger. You can zoom out. You can straighten if it's a little bit crooked, but this is fine. So we will save that photo. There we are, we've got the photo, and as you see, your name and your job title and your location have all appeared on the page. Now, of course, you can change that information in the future. You don't have to stick with it. Part 3. Adding your work experience. The next most important section for you to look at is that of your experience. This is, if you like, your online CV, and certainly the simplest way to produce this is to actually match it with your online CV. But let's show you exactly how to do that. Let's move down the page through all of these things, and we get to this box of experience. You'll notice it filled in the little bit of detail we originally provided, but we want to make it much more detailed than that. So let's click on the pencil to edit, and it comes through. It's already populated the job title and the type of employment. the company name. Now, if you work for a large organization, you will probably find that those organizations are already featured on LinkedIn. Let's see what happens if I start typing in a particularly well-known name. So I'm going to type in here Hilton, for example, and you'll see straight away it's come up with Hilton Hotels and Resorts, because there are already many employees in LinkedIn who are working for that company. It's clearly useful to be able to select companies like that, because that adds to the authenticity of your profile. I'll just pick this just as an example here. The location, again, you may have moved around with your job. So the location where you worked for this particular company. So maybe you worked in the Bahamas for this particular company. So you can put that. And again, as you saw, a list of places came up. Now, if this is your current role, it's very important that you click this box here that says that is your current job. As you noticed, when it wasn't there, you had a start date and an end date. And of course, if you're currently employed there won't be an end date. So click that and then put in the month when you started and the year when you started working for that organization. Move down the page. The next section that you come to is the description. This is the description of the particular job that you're referring to. And again, if you think of it just like your CV, underneath each of your jobs in a CV, you put that sort of detail that talks about perhaps some of your duties and responsibilities. But just like you do with your CV, one of the most important things is to include some results in there to really demonstrate that you've succeeded well in this particular role. The other thing that I would recommend is that you prepare the words that you're going to insert here in a Word document, because that really gives you a chance to type them through, check for spelling errors, check for grammar errors, because just like a CV, it is really important that everything on here is as accurate, neat, tidy and professional as possible. I have to keep emphasizing this is your online advert. So I've prepared some separate words. I'm just going to paste them into this box. And here is my description for this. And you'll see I've put some little results in there as well about how I've managed to succeed in the role that I'm discussing. So when we get to the bottom of that, you'll notice we've got the save button. I'll click on save. That's all on there. I've been given a chance to add some more detail, to add my manager, to add some teammates, but I'm not going to do any of that for now. I will just click done. So as you can see, LinkedIn has recognized that we're making some progress. That little banner's just popped up, so we just simply tick got it, get that out of the way. And let's just move down and we'll see that there we are, we've got a little bit more detail in our profile. Next thing to do is of course to add our previous job to that. So now we look at that plus symbol. The pencil would have allowed us to edit this if we noticed a mistake or if we wanted to change something. The plus symbol adds another job. So we click on the plus symbol and I'm going to enter my job title for my previous role, which was as a unit director, and that was a full-time position. And my company then was, I was still with the Hilton Group, but this was a very different job. So I'm going to enter Hilton. My location for that was central London. So I'm entering that. I'm not currently working there. It was my previous role. And in this particular role, I started in January in 1999 and I finished in May of 2014. And again, I've prepared a description outside this in Word to double check for spelling mistakes. So I'm just going to paste that into its position, and I'm going to save that into my profile. So when I click this, you can see we now have two positions, my current position and my previous position, with my responsibilities and some of my achievements. Keep going with that until you've entered all the jobs of relevance. The next area that you need to focus on with your profile is that of your education, just as you've done in your CV. So move up there and you'll see there's a section about adding education. Treat it in exactly the same way as you did the section where you've been entering all your work experience, and show relevant qualifications from school. If you're on your top-up degree, for example, at the moment, then you can show HND results when you what you've achieved with those, and make sure you keep that up to date with your most recent qualifications. And that's it. It's all set up and you're ready to go. Part 4, building your LinkedIn connections. Once you're happy with your profile, you've got your picture in place, you've got your experience and all your workplaces lined up and the things that you were responsible for, all your achievements, and you've done the same with your education, the next step is to start building your network of connections. Let's have a quick look at that. So along the top, you'll see you've got the two people and the heading of My Network. Let's click onto that and it'll bring you through to this page. Now we've got two choices, well actually three choices here. Choice number one, you'll see it's automatically entered your email address there. If you click the continue button, what LinkedIn will do, it will search through all the connections that you have in your phone book and will suggest that you link with them through LinkedIn. Now, that may or may not be appropriate to you. It may or may not depend on how many connections you've got in your address book. It doesn't automatically invite them. You have a second step where you can do so, but it may be a quick way of starting to do it. So that's the first option. Option number two is you'll notice that companies that you've worked for are starting to appear on this page as well, as are some people that it's saying you may know because of the places where they've worked. You can of course do that. But if you want to start building your network slowly and cautiously, then the way to do that would be to search for people that you know. And we can do that using this search box at the top. So if I click in and I start typing in a name, you'll see it started to come up with people whose names begins with Bruce. I'm going to carry on typing the name of this particular fellow, and you'll see that the person that I'm searching for has popped up here, so I'm going to click on him. So I've come through to this profile just so I can double check that this is the person that indeed I'm looking for. So I'm just checking. Yep, I can see the activity that this person's been up to recently. I can look through all their experience to make sure, yep, this is exactly the person that I'm looking for. So when I'm happy with that, then I will click these three little dots here and you will see I have an option to connect with this person. I'll click on connect. A little dialog box has come up suggesting that if I add a note, I'm more likely to get my invitation accepted. And of course that's particularly to remind somebody where you met them. If it's a colleague at college, then of course they'll remember you and they will connect straight up. And then when I click on send, that invitation will go to the person that you've been looking at, saying that you wish to connect with them. Of course, it's up to them to accept that connection request. It doesn't happen automatically. You always have the right to either accept or reject somebody who's asked to connect with you. So let's just click on send. and off that request has gone to that person to become a part of your network. So there we are. That's a quick whistle-stop tour of getting yourself set up on LinkedIn. Have a go, get your profile set up, and once you have, if you hit any difficulties, obviously do contact us within the KEC team. We'll be happy to help you. Good luck with setting up your profile. I look forward to seeing the results in the future. Take care out there. This presentation remains copyright of Nelson College London, who retain all rights in respect of its use.